Welcome to Architrave Gaming. I'm the Archmaster. Today we are talking about my own game system, Arches and Avatars, and I'm going to tell you about the equipment section. This is how inventory and encumbrance works, how weapon and armor materials works, because just like Elder Scrolls, you can have a sword, a long sword, but is it made of iron, steel, dwarvenite, obsidian, or calibrecum, quicksilver, mithril, etc.? Like the materials that your weapons and armor are made out of affect it. It's very simple. I'm about to get to it. We're going to get to durability. It's very simple. Your weapons and armor actually degrade and can be repaired and upgraded to like sharpened or buffed, so it's above its normal durability. Super cool. We'll probably touch on elixirs a little bit, poisons and potions, probably skip over mostly. Tonics are interesting, and if we still have time, we'll try to get to weapons and armor. Weapons and armor, I might be able to get to weapons and armor, might have to be a separate video because, there's just a lot there. It's very meaty. All right, so, yes, welcome, and thank you. All right, so, with your equipment, let's start with inventory and encumbrance. So, everything in the game, every item that you pick up, is one of three sizes. These are not the same sizes as like creatures. These are item sizes, okay? Small, medium, and large. Very simple, three sizes, right? A small item is like a potion, a sword, a coin purse. It's a thing you can hold in your hand, right? And you're like, well, a sword is longer, right? It's like, yeah, but you hold it in one hand, right? The part that you grasp is one. A medium item is like a two-handed weapon, right? Takes two hands to use. A 50-foot coil of rope, right? A shield, right? These are larger things. It doesn't just fit in a hand, it's larger than that. It's like a full arm or like two hands to wield, right? It's a larger thing. And then a large item would be, a chest, a suit of armor. This is something that takes up like, you can't like wield it or whatnot. It's something that you're just carrying, right? You're carrying a chest, you're carrying a suit of armor. A medium is something that it's kind of big. It uses two hands, but you can still like use it. And a one-handed weapon, like you can use two different one-handed things, two different small. So small, medium, large. In my system, I use slot-based encumbrance. Yes, there is encumbrance because the simulation aspect is paramount. You have to have the simulated, real, believable world, or else nothing really matters. So encumbrance is part of that. But it's a very simple encumbrance system, and it's small enough. You have not that many slots, for the express purpose that you have to make interesting choices, because interesting choices are kind of like the whole bread and butter of the game. That's kind of why we're here, is to make interesting choices. So, you have this is my own character sheet I designed myself for A&A. So, you have your belt and your torso. 8 items for your torso, 6 items for your belt. It's not really important right now, but you can retrieve items from your belt with a basic action, which in 5e is like your free action. It's the minor little action you can take. If it's on your belt, quick, right? It doesn't take any actions, right? If it's on your torso, it takes an achieve action, right? You're pulling something off, you're pulling, whatever, right? It takes a full action to actually pull something off your torso. And yeah, I'll get to other stuff later. So yeah, that's why you might want to keep stuff on your belt instead of your torso, but you have fewer slots on your belt. So 6 plus 8, you have 14 slots. Is that correct? 6 plus 8? Yes. You have 14 slots here for inventory, right? You can only put one thing in one slot, right? That's your standard, that's your base. You can only put one small thing, like a potion, a sword, a coin purse, in one slot. And you may think, I can put a sword in a slot or a potion? That's not that big. It's like, well, first of all, in my system, potions are pretty meaty. And also, yeah, you can take a sword and like stick it in a sheath. And when I'm talking about slots, I'm talking about around your belt, right? A sword, if it's vertical, it's not like wrapped around your belt. It doesn't take up multiple belt slots. It just takes up one slot. That's why it's considered a small item, because it only takes up about this much space on the belt. And a potion also takes up about this much space. And a coin purse takes this much space, like this much vertical space around your belt, right? So you can put 6 things around your belt. Medium items, such as a two-handed weapon, a 50-foot coil of rope, a shield, take up 4 slots. Yeah, 4. So you have 8 slots on your torso, right? You can put a shield on your back and 4 swords, or you can put a shield, you can put 2 shields, etc. Like two, you can fit up to 2 medium items on your back and have a bunch of small on your belt, etc. And then large is like a small chest, a suit of armor that takes up 8 slots. So if you want to strap a whole chest to your back, that takes up all of your chest slots. You can't put anything else on your torso. Or you can put like, a whole suit of armor, like, you take a suit of armor and you bundle it up and you carry it on your back, right? That takes up the whole torso slot. And the way I'm doing this here, I kind of have to balance two things. I have to balance space and I have to balance weight, right? I can't just do one or the other. If it's just weight, then it's like, oh, I can technically carry 100 pounds, so I'm going to carry this, massive thing that weighs 100 pounds. It's like, no, the thing takes up too much space. It's too big. But at the same time, I can't just look at space, because then if someone's like, hey, well, I have, a suit of armor on my back, but why can't I have various things on my chest? It's like, because it's too heavy. So on one hand, I have to say, well, that takes up too much space. On the other hand, I have to say it's too heavy. The way I blend those is to say, hey, torso slots, right? It's flavor if it's too heavy or too much space, but like in the end, you can only take up this many slots in your torso. Don't try to haggle with me and be like, well, technically I have space on my chest. It's like, yeah, well, and the suit of armor on your back is too heavy for that though. So anyway, that's our basic thing. So you have your your sword and your rope and your items and your shield and blah blah blah, your potions, your coin purses. You can have, I think, up to 100 coins in a coin purse. And so it's like, yeah, it's not forever. You can't walk around with 6,000 coins. It's just too much. You don't have the space for it, right? Because have you ever felt silver and gold? It's bloody heavy. Like you can't swim with it. You'll sink. We have reports of people actually, like Dusks and Dorks covered this, that people have died in rivers because their pockets were too full of silver. Pockets, not like a massive backpack. They just filled their pockets with silver and they couldn't swim. They drowned in the river. Okay, and so seriously, like you cannot carry that much coinage on you. I think I have like you can carry 100 copper, 50 silver, or 25 gold per slot, right? Like that's a what's called a small item that takes up one slot, and so yeah. All right, moving on. Actually, lastly, one more thing. You do have another slot on the back side of the sheet called inventory. And that has, as you can see, another 16 slots. The way that works is you can have a backpack and get access to extra stuff. So if you get a medium-sized backpack, you go on here on your torso, you mark out 4 slots and say backpack. Right? And you can just like write backpack on the top and make an arrow that goes down. So all 4 of these slots are backpack because a medium item is 4 slots. But a backpack acts as double. So you take up 4 slots here and you receive 8 slots on the backpack, right? You can have a large backpack that takes up all of these slots and now you get 16 extra slots, right? You can only put small items in a backpack. You can't put a whole shield, you can't put a suit of armor, you can't put a 2-handed weapon, only small items, right? And no weapons except daggers, right? You can't, sword is small technically, it's a one-handed weapon, but you can't stick it in a backpack, it'll pierce it, right? So no weapons but daggers. So yeah, that's simple. It's a bloody simple system, and it gives you actually interesting choices. It's like, well, I could have a large backpack and carry a whole bunch of gold and a whole bunch of this and that, or I could have a medium backpack, have room for something like a 2-handed weapon and a shield, or I could have no backpack and have more medium or large items, etc. Gives you an interesting choice to make, because that's what the game's about, interesting choices with your encumbrance. And of course, GM, if you're like, this is, I don't want this, or if players are like, oh man, I don't get to carry 10,000 gold, this is awful. That's what a bag of holding is for. I think a bag of holding should be an intentional decision that the GM or group makes. Like, hey, we don't want to have to worry about encumbrance. I want you to be able to collect absolutely everything that I give you, okay? Then give them a bag of holding. Give them an unlimited bottomless bag of holding, okay? But that shouldn't be the default, right? In 5e, currently, the default inventory system is ignore the inventory system, bag of holding. Like, the GM doesn't even have to give you a bag of holding. Everyone treats their inventory like it's a bag of holding. Just watch Critical Role. It's like, oh yeah, like Yasha walks into this shop one time. She's like, right, so I have this cuirass, this like full suit of armor. How much can I get for it? And Matt Mercer's like, wait, what? You have a cuirass you're just carrying with you? And she's like, yeah, it's in my inventory. It's like at the moment he's like, why do I allow this? Because D&D. Okay, D&D 5e is poorly done. Whatever. And he runs with it. But I looked at it, I was like, that shouldn't be. You shouldn't just have this invisible cuirass on your back somewhere, right? That you have to be grounded. You have to be in the world. It has to be believable. You have to look at it and say, wow, actually, yeah, I have these things on me. All right. So one thing I should clarify is that worn armor, the actual armor that you wear on yourself, does not take up any of these slots. Right? When I say a suit of armor, that's talking about like a bound up suit of armor that you're carrying and that you like put in a sack and keep on your back. Worn armor goes up here. Gauntlets, boots, and whatnot. That's what you wear. This is your inventory. It's what you're actually holding in your hand. Okay. So with that done, let's get to weapon and armor materials. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get to weapons and armor themselves this video. All right. Weapons and armor can be made out of different materials that give them a unique advantage. All right, iron. It is not enchantable and not gem slottable. You can't put a magical enchanted gem in iron and imbue it with it. It's just, the magic just won't take, right? Steel is enchantable. Dwarvenite has +2 durability. We will get to durability in the next section, but all Dwarvenite +2. Super cool. All right. Now, we are getting to obsidian. The title here says weapons and armor in that order. So the first thing in parentheses applies to weapons, and the second thing applies to armor made of that, right? So the next one is obsidianite. It's like, it's essentially Elder Scrolls Ebony, but it's just like, in real life, technically, ebony is like black wood. It's not metal or anything. So I was like, I want some ebony-like substance, but I can't call it ebony because that's not really what ebony is. I'm going to call it obsidianite. And it's kind of fiery. It's like, obsidian comes from volcanoes, it's fiery. So almost everything in my system is elemental coded. All right, so obsidianite. Weapons are magma enchantable. You can enchant it with magma spells and magic and whatnot. And if you don't know what that means, I'll explain it one of these days. And then the armor gives you bonuses to stealth at night. Orcalabricum is flammable armor, and the flammable weapons, and the armor is flame enchantable. So Orcalabricum is actually a type of metal, and you can make weapons out of it, and the metal itself is flammable. So you can dip it in fire, and it's just flaming for a little while until it burns off, right? It's just flammable weapons, and you can enchant the armor with flame. It takes it. Quicksilver. Quicksilver lets you have a teleporting weapon, so without any enchantment at all, you can throw your weapon and you can teleport it back to your hand, and your armor is lightning enchantable. Quicksilver armor is lightning enchantable. Because that Quicksilver is about lightning. It's like coded to lightning, and so that's why teleporting is a thing. It's like because lightning shoots super fast. All right, with Mithril, it is frost enchantable, and you have no sneak penalty when wearing Mithril armor. Aquanite is collapsible, and it can turn invisible. So you can take like an Aquanite sword and just like stick it in your pocket, and then take it out later. It's like, that's cool. And invisible. If you don't know what that is or why, I'm not going to explain it. That's probably for my team, actually, not even for patrons. That's probably just something to tell team members because it's really, really, really cool. All right, wood weapons and armor. Some plant power, meaning like druid stuff, and it's vulnerable to fire in terms of durability. Adamantine, properties of steel, which means it's enchantable. Properties of steel but upgraded. Auto crit items negate crits on armor. So if you have a weapon, if you have an adamantine weapon, it auto crits items just like 5e, and adamantine armor negates crits on you just like in 5e. You can port stuff straight over. It's familiar. It's what you know. All right, but then there's dragon bone, teeth, or scale armor. Elemental damage if you make dragon bone, teeth, or scale weapons, and it can hurt dragons. In my system, you can't hurt a dragon unless you use dragon bone or dragon teeth, dragon scale, dragon weapons, right? Because only dragons can hurt dragons. It's like, at least that's in one of my settings. So it's like, yeah, we have to actually find some old dragon bones and whatnot to even fight a dragon in the first place, right? I think that's how you make monsters cool, make them scary, make them special. If you can just walk up and stab a dragon, it's not a mythical dragon beast. It's just like, oh, I'm just another monster. It's like, no, make them special. And making armor out of dragon parts gives it the resistance to the element that the dragon had immunity to. Like fire dragons are immune to fire. You wear armor, you have resistance to fire. Good for you. All right, durability. Weapons and armor wear out with use. When you get a natural 1 on an attack roll, your weapon loses 1 point of durability and suffers a -1 penalty to damage rolls. If a weapon loses another point of durability, it breaks beyond repair and must be repaired in order to be reused. This is armor, but you can see there are little circles here, and those are your durability check marks. You just mark it off when you lose durability. And they should technically have 4 instead of 3. I guess I made a mistake there. Because everything's base 2 and Dwarvenite gives you +2, so there should technically be an extra circle. But really, actually, a player can just draw an extra circle in there if they have Dwarvenite, so that's not a problem. Anyway, alright, when you take a critical hit on a body part that is armored, that armor loses 1 point of durability and its DR is reduced by 1. So same thing. You lose a point of durability, and instead of your damage reduced by 1, your damage reduction is reduced by 1. When a piece of armor loses another point of durability, it is broken and no longer provides DR and must be reforged. Same thing. Once you get 2 points of durability, you've taken 2 critical hits against you, or you've gotten 2 critical failures with your weapon. Both of them are broken. Same system applies to both. It's just 2. Very simple. You get a -1 and then broken. Weapons and armor can be repaired by a blacksmith, provided they have requisite materials. Restoring 1 point of durability on an item usually costs 1/10 of the item's value, plus the same again for the labor required. Not every smith knows how to repair every weapon or piece of armor, so you can't take your adamantine armor to the village smith. It's like, nope, he's not going to know how. That's a cool thing about adamantine armor. It negates crits, which means it never breaks. It's like, All right. So yeah, that's it. That's the whole durability. The whole durability section is this long. That's it. That's your whole bloody thing. It's like, yeah, with your roll of 1, it's like, oh great, now I have a -1 to my damage rolls. Oh, he rolled a nat 20 against me. Great, I have a -1 to my DR for that piece of armor. And then if it happens again, it's broken. Really simple. Not a ton to track. You're not cross-referencing. It doesn't affect your dexterity and your con and your strength. It doesn't affect anything else. Just your damage and your DR. Damage done and damage reduced. And then the second time, it's broken. Super bloody easy, simple. All right. Elixirs are essentially. So I have a custom elixir creation system. This is going to be the last part of the video, I think. Well, almost last. So we're gonna see if you can even see that. Okay. It should say elixir size, elixir potency, elixir effects, and time of effect, not potion time, because I changed elixirs and potions. Potions carry a magical effect to them, like you drink it and now you can levitate. That's a potion. An elixir restores something. You drink it and your health comes back. You drink it and your mana comes back. You drink it and some of your aspects come back. Those are elixirs. They replenish something. Potions give something. They give you a new ability. So yeah, you essentially, the elixirs are something that I believe it's the apothecary, the apothecary pursuit, they get to make elixirs, and of course you can buy elixirs in the world and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, that's what that is for. You take the prices and the size of each thing and how many dice of like a flask is 2 dice, and if it's the potency, if it's a standard potency, it's D8s. So you say, oh, it's a flask of standard potency, it's like 2 D8, right? You take those and you put them together, now you have a 2 D8 potion. It's it's really cool. You have poisons, which are similar potions, which are the stuff I explained. Tonics are essentially chems. There are lots of cool things you can have with tonics. I might make a short video after this about tonics, because this is getting too long. Perhaps I need to just make a video about each of the individual things instead of trying to all of them at once. Anyway, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing and feeding the algorithm. Thank you for my patrons. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good day. God bless.